Hey guys, it's King, and I'm going to be taking you through the patch notes of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. There's been a lot of crazy changes, such as adding dash dancing, balancing Angelo, or rather just nerfing him, and a lot of other types of balance changes that I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm not going to show every single example, however, I'm going to show some of the examples that I think are good and easy to show and important to show, and the rest I'm going to talk to you and explain about. So I'm going to do a balance here based on what I think is easiest or most efficient that you guys will care about, because I know you guys want to see the new Nair, some dash dancing and some stuff. So before I get into it, please click subscribe and click the bell icon and, whatever you could do to help out. So with that said, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to start by reading the patch notes starting at the top. So, first, they fixed the frame rate issues on a lot of the stages. Notably, Rooftop Rumble was a stage, one of the 4 legal stages, actually, often a neutral or a counterpick, which only had 30 frames per second instead of 60. There was certain technical reasons for this, alongside some other stages that weren't legal, like Royal Woods and Traffic Jam. Just so you know, I don't need to show it, I could just tell you, instead of being 30 frames per second, it's now 60. This is actually a very big deal, because 60 frames per second on one of the neutral and or counterpick stages, huge deal, makes it way better for turn. There's been times that me and other people didn't pick it specifically because of the frame rate. Alright, next, there's a ghost zone issue, computers to freeze, glitches, you don't need to show that. Projectiles that pounce no longer last indefinitely, and they don't pretty much glitch for a wall or ceiling, so I could easily show that. So for those that don't know, there's certain projectiles like the Ren Stimpy Log, Cat Dog Furball, and the Tough Boulder. So, just to show what this is real quick, basically, when you do this little furball, you jump R, and this used to just bounce forever. You could leave lots of them. Now it doesn't happen. There has been also a time when, if I, basically, let's put them over here. Basically, when it would land here, it would land at the very edge. What would happen is, it's kind of hard to, 1 second. Right here, the furball would disappear. It would literally just stop right there. It would just stop and glitch. And it'd be super weird, but and now it just continues bouncing. So that's really all that is. It's basically not glitched anymore. Now the next one's a really big deal. I don't really need to show this, I could just explain it. The global DI window increased from 10 degrees to 16 degrees. And I'm just going to save you the time of using 2 controls at once because I've already tested this. Just note that this means that the guaranteed def combos that a lot of characters had that were inescapable, like SpongeBob had a def grab, Angelo, but Angelo's nerfed for other reasons. Ren Stimpy had a 0 def, Oblina had a 0 def, Ang had a 0 to def. A lot of these characters, they just kept doing nairs and then double dare you. And that was because you could only DI up to 10 degrees. Armada used to compare it to Smash 64. And a lot of top players were saying, yeah, there's just not enough DI. Now, a universal change from 10 degrees to 16 degrees. Very big deal. Pretty much every snare is changed. All right, so that's a huge change. In my personal opinion, that is the biggest change in my opinion. Next, updated pixelated images in gallery. I don't really need to show that. It's just pixelated images. Certain recovery moves not activating as expected but performed immediately after leaving launch state. Basically, if you've ever followed Oblina online and her uppy just wasn't working, can't show it now because, it's a little different now, but basically, you know how Oblina's uppy is supposed to go up? Well, it is like a glitch where it kind of just stays in place. It goes a little bit down if you try to do it in certain situations. That glitch is now gone. So in a way, that's an Oblina buff, but there's also other nerfs, which I'll talk about later. Now, implemented dash dancing. Now that's one I'm gonna show. So I'll just pick whoever. All right. So before you could still use footsies by moving back and forth, but now we actually have dash dancing. Now, so I'll first off show what it looks like real quick. This is the dash dancing. You actually, and I'll do it with hitboxes on. We actually have dash dancing now. Now, melee players will really like this. I personally think it doesn't really matter too much because I think doing this left-right thing was already good. This is already good regardless. But, why not just have dash dancing? Just why not? So yeah, but now anyone who is used to dash dancing from like Project Plus or Melee, well, now you got it. Another thing to mention from this is normally when you do a dash attack, you have to be running for 10 frames and then you could dash attack starting on frame 11 and onwards. However, if you start with a dash dance, then you have to be running for 15 frames. So I don't really need to demonstrate that, but just know that if normally I have to run 10 frames in dash attack, but otherwise you have to run for a little bit longer. See, I try to do the same timing I jab, but if I do a little bit longer, I can still do it. So you can't dash attack quite as fast out of a dash dance. It's now starts on frame 16 instead of 11 or 10 and 15 for the startup. So that's a pretty big change that I wanted to show, and that's how it works. Now Patrick, when Patrick did his special grab, for those that don't know, Patrick actually has 2 grabs, which I'm going to demonstrate. One of them is a command input. A lot of people don't know about this actually. So I'm going to show his down B, and then his command input down B. So check this out. So here's his regular down B. Of course, you know, we all know about that, right? Oh, why didn't it show damage? Oh yeah, right. Duh. All right, it's just like that. But watch this. There's a command input. Watch this. If you do down, and then down, left, you know, up, right, down, like a half circle, boom. And that does like 47 damage. But the thing is, it was supposed to have super armor. So let's turn on the hitboxes. You can see that dark gray, that dark green. See, this is the normal one. This is normal. And that's with the super armor. Basically, it was supposed to have super armor in the first place. They forgot, so they just added and fixed it. Now, Ang. A lot of people care about Ang. So I'm gonna show some Ang real quick. Basically, Ang's Nair used to be ridiculous, not only because of the DI, like you couldn't DI out of it, which, you know, the universal change should balance that move a bit, but they did another little change too, which I'm going to show now. So basically, you know, you can see the Nair here, but let's look at the hitboxes. For those that don't know, this used to be significantly longer. It was way past the staff. So let's just show how it looks relative to the staff now. See, it is still bigger than the staff. This is still bigger than the staff. But before, it was exponentially bigger than the staff. Like, it was actually crazy. So when you add the DI, I mean, the computers don't DI, but when you add the DI increase, and the fact that it's just slightly more balanced with the range now, Ang's just going to be a little bit more balanced. He's still going to be amazing. But he also got another little buff. This move now goes faster. Instead of a 1.75 speed, it's a 1.85 speed. So, that's a nice little buff. Pretty cool. That's what they did. Tough, there was an infinite platform bug. That was fixed. Korra fixed down special having variable landing lag. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I don't know exactly what that is, but that's been changed. Now, Lucy Loud. I want to mention that Lucy Loud, Ren and Stimpy, and Danny Phantom had pretty much the same type of change. I'm gonna show Lucy Loud's as an example, but just know that her the special door she does, as well as the Ren and Stimpy fart, as well as Danny Phantom's giant like down B explosion move, are pretty much the same type of change. So just for the sake of saving time, I'm going to show what one of these changes are. Basically, what they did is a lot of these moves, they made them so strong with the base knockback, which is how much knockback it has at 0. They made them so strong that in certain situations, especially near the edge, it would kill at 0%. But then there's also situations where they're at like 100 damage and it's not killing. Well, that's obviously not intended because it's pretty dumb that sometimes you die at 0 and sometimes it fails to kill at 100. That's not very consistent. Competitively, that's annoying, inconsistent, and random feeling. So what they did to make it more competitively consistent, they reduced the base knockback, not just a bit, dramatically, from 180 to 110 for Lucy, and then increased knockback row from 185 to 265. They did a very similar change with Ren Stimpy's down B fart, and they did a very similar change with Danny Phantom's down B. The numbers are very slightly different for each character, but it's very, very, very close together, and all three can pretty much be compared together. So basically, when you bite someone for her, you do this. This move would you see that? That would almost kill SpongeBob. If this was the old version, that would have almost killed SpongeBob. That might have killed SpongeBob. In certain matchups, you could dash attack and down B. That would have already been a KO. Now, it's not going to KO. It's a lot more balanced. You're not going to just cheat victories out of people. It's just going to be more competitively consistent. You're still going to get the damage at the high damage. The knockback growth is increased. So it is more consistent. A lot less jank, which as competitive players, you know, that's what they want. Now, Angelo, what we've all been waiting for. Fortunately for some and unfortunately in another way, he got straight up nerfed across the board without any buffs. I hope they actually make him an actual playable character outside of this. I mean, let's be real. The Nair had to go. It was actually stupid. However, I do feel the character's underwhelming without Nair, so I hope the devs actually make the other moves better, because there's a lot of underwhelming moves. So, to talk about the one thing that's better, let's start optimistically. This up air, Didn't used to have a hitbox. Or no, it did. Not that it didn't have a hitbox. Sometimes, for some weird glitchy reason, I don't know the exact technical reason, but long story short, sometimes this move just wouldn't hit an airborne opponent. Now it hits airborne opponents. Yeah, yes. For some reason, part of this move just wouldn't hit an opponent if it was airborne. Super weird, I know. It's totally random. Now, here's the nair changes. Let me demonstrate first. See that? See how it just goes up and to the right? It's like a normal nair now. Now, keep in mind, this is with no DI. So you can DI up to 16 degrees in any direction. But before, it would be like guaranteed, no matter what you do. It's fixed hit stun, not much distance. It would just destroy you. The changes they did is neutral launch angle changed from 320 to 30. Stun decreased from 30 to 24, so you're in hit stun less long. And the air stun gain increased from 0 to 6. Technical stuff, but basically, you saw the example. I mean, I'll just do it again. You can see how it functions kind of like a normal move now. Kind of what the original intent was, rather than just something that puts you in stun forever. And you could, you've seen it before. Guaranteed death if the opponent does it right. All right. Power toast bands, idle animation, fresh out of can, yada yada. That doesn't matter. Zim. Now Zims is pretty interesting. One of those was something I expected, and one of those, it makes sense, but it wasn't quite what I expected. So I'll just pick, all right, Power toast man, heavyweight. So Zim's dash attack, if you actually look at the animation, it makes sense because I remember this. It is supposed to have 2 hits, so let's look at it. Which is, I think if I'm not mistaken, this is the only dash attack of 2 hits. So if you look at it, look at the animation, 1, 2. The second one wouldn't actually be attacked. But here, let's look at the hitbox now. 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, I don't need to show in slow motion. You could just see. 1, 2. So now you could still cancel out of the hit. So watch this. So if I wanted, oh, and here's the other change, just to show. The air smash used to look like this, and the ground smash, you see how it's 2 circles? Before, there was a glitch, and it was only the first circle. So that was a huge glitch. But now this is obviously how it was supposed to be, and they fixed that. I still think this move's a little underwhelming. I think this should still scoop. See, look, you see how it right here? I still think this, personally, I think that, those 2 frames should be hitbox. But yeah. So let's look at what happens. I figured out this combo. You can dash attack, 1, 2 hit, and then jump S smash. Like, you could do that. And now, this is a crazy dash attack. This move is crazy now. Look, it's like, boom, boom, boom. Quick 0 to 30. Zim's even better. This character's going to be top. This character's going to be top tier. I don't care what people say. This character's going to be crazy. But yeah, so now your ground up smash is a move, and your dash attack is now crazy good. Except for that time that it just didn't work. All right, so now Helga has an underwhelming counter for many reasons, which I described before. However, there is the biggest individual change, my biggest critique of it before. Well, first off, let's talk about the counter itself. This counter sucks. It used to be extra suck. So, basically, just to show, it used to come out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It'll be 11. So 11's pretty slow, and when it hit the enemy, it wasn't even as strong as you'd expect. So that's just show, like, someone fighting me, just counter. Come on, hit me. Stop waiting for it. Computer, please. Ugh. I hate everything. Are they waiting for you on purpose? I'm recording a video. Please. Yes! As you can see, it sucks. It sucks. But just so you know, before, so here's what they changed. Before, I would take the full damage of it. So if I got hit by a forward smash, let's say they did a 14 damage forward smash, I would do my 5 damage counter. I would still take the 14 damage. Now, instead of me, Helga, taking 14 damage, Helga takes 0 damage. That's a huge change. I still think it sucks overall, and it still doesn't work even when you counter it. Sometimes even a successful counter on like an up B, a lot of the time it still won't work. But not taking the full damage of a smash attack or any damage from a successful counter is a huge upgrade. I actually think it still needs to be buffed even further, in my personal opinion. But that is a huge increase. It's stupid that a successful counter, you would still take the full damage from the attack. That was obviously an oversight. Now, the last character that would be very interesting to talk about is Oblina. So, just to talk about Oblina next. both the down air moves from the air are changed, and one of those is a huge change. So to talk about this real quick and demonstrate it, this move used to linger the entire time until the last frame, until like frame 20 something, maybe 22, 5 to 22 or something. Now watch, frame 5, 6, 7, and now it ends. Before, this would linger the entire time, and if you kept doing this, it would be red almost the entire time. That was obviously not meant to be the case, so they nerfed it dramatically. So it now actually makes more sense of what you'd see. Also, this move changed a little bit, but honestly, this move's still crazy. Like, this move is still, like, ridiculous. I mean, you're still going to spike everyone. Like, this move doesn't really matter. Now, instead of her downers being brain dead that a 5-year-old could do it, you actually have to time it like other characters. That's, like, the main thing. And besides that, you know, add missing localization words to the option menu, fix traffic jam bus not rendering properly in low settings. Stuff that doesn't really matter too much. So that's pretty much the changes. In my personal opinion, the biggest change here, obviously a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the dash dance changed. And yeah, for YouTube clickbait, it probably is the dash dance change. But realistically, the biggest change in my opinion is the global DI change. Well, obviously the Michelangelo change, you know. But the global DI change from 10 degrees to 16 degrees, that affects every scenario. It allows you to actually DI away. Just to give an idea, I think Melee's DI is either 17 or 18 frames. So it's either 17 or 18 for Melee. And 10 degrees, you know, now it's from 10 to 16. They made it not too far from Melee. It's still a little less DI than Melee, but it's pretty darn close now. It's going to feel a lot more like Melee than before, by a lot. So in my opinion, that's a good thing because, I mean, it's Melee. It's a really great game. And the fact that you don't automatically die with no counterplay the moment you get hit by like an Ang Nair or an Oblina Nair or SpongeBob Nair, you just watch a character die. It was mainly because you couldn't DI far enough. Now you can. So in my opinion, that's the biggest change. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I mainly focused on showing the stuff that I thought was the most important, and the rest I just talked about. So let me know if you like this type of content. I mean, I think it works. It gets to the point. I don't need to demonstrate each individual thing. So hope you guys enjoyed. Please take 2 seconds of your time to click subscribe and click the bell icon to stay notified of other videos. Also, please leave a comment below on what your thoughts on the video was. If you want to see more of these, whatever types of content you want. Also, like and whatnot. That would help the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff. And if you're interested, I also do coaching. If you want to get better at Nickelodeon or Smash, you can sign up on Medify.gg. This is also in the YouTube description. Check it before leaving, please. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next video.